If you've been desperate for a management position, but you've been struggling to get one because you don't have any experience, you are not a manager, then you need to watch this week's YouTube video, because I am going to tell you the mindset, the strategy, and the kind of confidence that you need to make it happen. So let's dive into my tips on how to get a manager job without any experience. Stay tuned. So hello, welcome to my channel. This is the place where you come when you want to find your dream job or get your next promotion, and I'm the person to help you do that. I want people to be working less hours, making more money, and having more impact, which means they're more fulfilled and happy doing work that they love. And I am so glad you're here. I drop a new video on this YouTube every week. So if you want help, need help on anything to do with clarity and resumes and LinkedIn and interviews and networking, this is the place to do it. So hit subscribe so that you don't miss a single one. Okay, let's dive right into my top tips on how to get a management job when you aren't a manager, when you don't have any experience during leadership. So tip number one is to ask yourself, are you a natural leader? This is essentially looking to see if you have the transferable skills necessary to get that management position. Because just because you haven't held a managerial role doesn't mean that you lack the necessary skills. So think about it. Think about you on your team, you in your life, you at school, you in all of the scenarios. Have you ever been the go-to person? You know, that person that people just naturally come to get help with tech, to get their questions answered, to get advice. Are you that person? Because if you are, you probably have some leadership skills. Are you that advice giver? I know that there are lots of people who their manager asks them their input, and for their advice on what they see. Do you naturally or have been given the responsibility of onboarding or training new team members? So have you become like that natural, more senior level person? Are you the mentor? Are you the one that people want to help in their own career advancement and growth plans? Do you mentor people? And so that's who you are with the people that surround you. Now let's take a look at your position. Are you overseeing anything? Are you coordinating anything? Coordinating is just like the baby word for leadership. Honestly, sometimes I think coordination is much harder than leading, because you need people to do things for you and they don't have to because you're not their manager. It's so much harder to inspire those people. And are you leading pieces of things? So for example, when I was a recruiter, before I stepped into any leadership positions, I led many recruitment projects. That was me leading and owning and overseeing the whole recruitment process from start to finish. So there's probably lots of pieces in your position where you have done that. So are you a natural leader? Tip number one. Tip number two is expand your knowledge. There's so much to learn out there. And if you want to step into a leadership position, then you need to have the knowledge of what it takes to be a leader, but it also helps you talk as though you are a leader. So let's think about leadership knowledge and how you can get that. Professional development, hiring a coach like me, working on yourself, finding leadership certification programs or leadership development programs that potentially, all of this, including working with me, all of this your company may pay for. So take a look at that. And then finding books, listening to podcasts, things like that. And I would love it. Comment below if you have a book or a podcast that has really helped develop your own leadership skills. Please share in the comments below. And then let's expand your industry knowledge, because in all likelihood, there is an industry that you want to be a leader within. So take a look at the trends and the best practices that exist and that are coming down the pipeline. Take a look at the leadership principles and skill set desired by that industry as well. And you're going to learn all of this stuff and you're going to practice it at work. You're going to use what you're learning in the workplace. You're going to apply it. You're going to communicate that you're applying it so that people know, so that you can naturally already start talking and thinking like a leader. And tip number 3 is you got to leverage your network. So networking is key, but especially when you're trying to break into a new role. And in this case, if you're trying to get a management position internally, or if you're trying to get a management position externally and you have little to no experience, you need to understand that you are competing against people who have experience in actual management positions where they have managed people, hired people, fired people, performance managed them, also budgets and owning and managing pieces of the job. So when you are competing against those individuals, your resume may get overlooked time and time again. You realize I am not talking about your resume with these things. Now, there is some tips and tricks you can do on your resume, like showcasing all of that leadership, natural leadership skills and the leadership knowledge that you've acquired on paper. But in my experience, the best way to get into one of those positions is by talking to people, making sure your network knows what you want so that they can tap on the right shoulders or they can help facilitate any meetings. Looking for a mentor. A mentorship is so key when you're looking to grow your career. So seeking out and looking for a mentor who can advise and guide and again help you. And look at industry events, because that's a great way to develop that industry knowledge that we want, but also allow you to build connections within the leadership community. So that is tip number 3, is leveraging your network. Okay, tip number 4 is showcasing your leadership potential. So even if you don't have management experience, which is why you're here, you can still demonstrate your leadership skills and leadership potential. So this is what I was talking about with your resume. So making sure that all of that stuff we talked about before is on paper. So using words like owning and overseeing and managing, coaching and empowering and mentoring and training, having all of that there. But also I want you to showcase your leadership potential by volunteering for things, by communicating that to your manager and to your people in your network. So if you have an opportunity to pop up that hand to lead anything, I want you to be doing that. If you have the opportunity to mentor colleagues, I want you to be the first one to raise your hand to do that. I want you to take a look to see, is there any way to optimize or improve anything that's going on, make more efficient anything that's going on in your workplace, on your workflows, on processes, on your team, in your department. And I want you to communicate that to your manager. I want you to showcase that ability. I also want you to showcase your ability to motivate and guide others by rallying the troops when times get tough, being that person that people go to that need advice, but also who they trust and who can help inspire to do the impossible. By showcasing this to your employer, it makes it more likely that they see it in you and that they are the ones who reach out to you to give you the promotion without even, you having to do much. It's always amazing. Okay, tip number 5, be persistent. So getting a managerial job without prior experience can be challenging. So it is crucial that you are persistent and that you don't give up on this career goal. You will fail, and that's okay. You will learn from these failures. I want you to tailor your resume and cover letter to translate your leadership skills and your transferable skills and your passion for leadership. I want you to customize that application to the role that you're applying to, but I want you to be networking as much as possible within it. I want you to follow up. I want you to ask for feedback. I want you to seek out informational interviews. I want you to show your determination and persistence throughout the entire process so that interviewers are inspired by your persistence. Because if they are inspired by your persistence, they can see how you can inspire and motivate and guide and lead others. So, to recap, the top 5 tips I have for how to get a manager position without any leadership experience is number 1, figure out, are you a natural leader? Number 2 is expand your knowledge. Number 3 is leverage your network. Number 4 is showcase your leadership potential. Number 5 is be persistent. And at the end of the day, remember that you did not just step into this role now. You developed yourself. You grew yourself to get to this position. And getting into that next step will require the same. Now, if you want some help figuring out your leadership potential, if you want to figure out gaps, if you want to figure out if you're a natural leader, then I have the thing for you. I have a new freebie where you get to take, it's a 9-question little assessment, and it tells you whether or not you have the leadership potential, and it also tells you the areas in which that you potentially want to work on. The link to do that is below. Grab it, take it, and then let me know how I can help. I am offering an exclusive one-on-one program for a few individuals called Your Next Promotion. So it's me and you working together for 4 months, taking you from not being in the position to being in the position in that 4-month period. If you are interested in learning more, you can click the link below and then you will apply to schedule a call to talk about it with me to see if it makes sense for you and I to work together on this goal of yours. Okay, until next week, have a great one. Happy hunting for that new management position, and I'll see you soon. Bye.